All right, Jared, we're back for part two here, or some part somewhere in the galaxy. We're here.
Yeah.
We were just talking some good Star Wars shit, trying to figure out how the hell Grogu doesn't talk and how old he is and how he doesn't have a fucking helmet yet.
Yeah.
So make sure you're listening to the last one to figure out what any of that means. Yeah, Jared, what's going on? What's going on in the world here?
I don't know. You tell me.
I yeah, I want to talk about this Dan Harmon. I fucking love the guy. He's an
Yeah.
idol to me. When it comes to some of these comedy series shows,
Mhm.
everything from Community to freaking Rick and Morty, and now he's got another show that's supposed to. So they remember they were saying this about Justin Roland's show, but then all of a sudden he started imprisoning people, and now
Yeah.
now he got fired everywhere. So
Yeah.
that show sucks all of a sudden now. It- but anyway, so Dan Harmon, he's on the spotlight now. He got greenlit for a show called Crapopolis, which is supposed to be on Fox. It's airing this summer or some shit, or 2023, 24. They're saying
Is this a
cartoon,
live? Okay, it's cartoon. I mean, Fox
cartoon
does a lot of cartoons,
animated series. Yeah, yeah. No, they
yeah,
do. They do.
and they do a decent job. I mean, didn't The Simpsons start on Fox?
Definitely, definitely.
Well,
Animation
technically they still
domination.
are. Yeah,
Animation domination or
domination.
domination. Sorry.
Didn't they start The Simpsons in like 1990, like 80
No,
something?
80 something. Yeah, I want to say like 88. It's as old as me. Shit, I
Jesus,
just told everybody my age. Um,
what's my age again? What's
what's
my
my
age
age
again?
again? Well, if you were born in 1988. But anyway, so Crapopolis from what I'm looking at the picture here, it definitely gives me a Rick and Morty vibe. It
Mhm.
kind of gives me the vibe from the heist episode.
God.
I've like referred to that episode or we've made reference to that episode the past 5 podcasts now. So why not? No, they're actually dressed in like Greek mythology shit. So
Okay.
I think it has something to do with Greek mythology. But I find this interesting, okay? So somewhere somebody is deciding that this show is just awesome, and without it airing, it hasn't aired anywhere as far as I know. Unless it
Okay.
aired in like the UK and they're just loving it there. But he's greenlit for like 3 seasons and this hasn't aired yet. So I find that like
Maybe
that's
they did like a test pilot and had
must
people like
of.
watch.
They're not like really
Yeah.
explaining that though. They're just like, oh yeah, they fucking love it. So they're giving them 3 years. They're giving them 3 years. Everybody, they fucking love it. And I'm just
It's,
like,
maybe they're just trying to trick us. They're like, everybody loves this. And like you read that and you're like, it must be a good show. And then
maybe.
it forces you to watch it and then you realize that it's not
Well,
fantastic.
dude, when they were talking about the Justin Roiland show with Hugh Jackman or whatever, it's going to be on
Yeah.
there. I was like trying, like I was sitting there reading about it, and I'm like, I'm trying to like get my heart into it, right? I'm just like trying to
Hmm.
tell myself like, yeah, this could be the next Rick and Morty because, like Dan Harmon said, the character development destroys, the shows at the end, and
Yeah.
that's they get boring and your expectation is now diminished. So,
Hmm.
but like, yeah, so like somewhere at some point Rick and Morty is going to have to end and I'm going to have to find something new. Unless I just rewatch Rick and Morty just all the seasons, until I'm like dead, which I could do. I could do that because I do that with Community, and I know that I'm actually a Community expert. By the way, I just want to say if
quick
anybody needs a Community the show expert, give me a call. Give
quick
me a
side quick side note.
side
I
note.
saw this show um over the weekend with Joel McHale called Animal
I
Control. It's
heard
like
about that.
you seen it? It's kind of ridiculous.
I gotta watch it.
So
Oh
it's.
man.
I mean, the first thing I see is these rabbits biting him, like little bunnies, like biting the shit out of him.
I saw a TikTok. I Yeah, I saw a TikTok of it. It was fucking hilarious, and I'm like, I can't wait for this to come out. But like,
Yeah,
that's the thing. That sometimes those ads can really, because they're so quick, and they really just like they're really capturing like clips from like all the season that
yeah,
entire
yeah.
season that they're about to put out. So like it can really entice you to watch it, and then you watch it, and then you're just hearing the actual story, and you're like, "This is fucking retarded. I'm out." Like a good example would be Tacoma FD. When that show
Never
first
watched it.
came, well, it's it's the guys from Super Troopers,
Yeah, yeah,
Farva, and the other guy that I forget his name. But
yeah.
they star on it, they write it, and I would say like the first season that did it for me. That was pretty funny. I thought it was kind of like corny, but at the same time, it was like, this is entertaining, and too, it was COVID, so
Hmm.
I mean, everybody was getting desperate because they weren't really filming a whole lot. I mean, shit, people were filming from their own homes, like
Yeah,
actors and like
yeah.
TV stars and all that shit because of COVID. So it was getting slim pickings out there. Sorry about that, everybody. Had some technical difficulties there. So we were talking about Tacoma FD. So the
Hmm.
first season was bearable. They took real stories from actual firefighters, okay?
Okay.
So, but it started becoming even more cornier as the season went on, and
Hmm.
it yeah, it wasn't it kind of started losing its charm. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was better off being a movie. They should have did Tacoma FD as a movie instead of a TV series. It was a good try, I'll say, and it was really trying to bring Super Troopers back in a way,
Hmm. Hmm.
and a way that could relate to a lot of the public service people. So there was still the same, the scuffles between the police and the fire department and all that, but like the firefighters always do pranks on each other and shit. You know,
Yeah.
if, talking to like my cousin, some of that shit's pretty true. I'll tell you off note on some of the shit he's told me. He was just telling me a story last night, which was pretty fucking hilarious. But yeah, they're pretty ruthless. Some of those firefighters, some of the shit they do to each other, fucking yeah,
I think that happens no matter what type of position you're in, like that,
yeah,
with a bunch of dudes. Because, like, whether it's a police officer or firefighters or like in the military with me, like,
yeah.
you do some stupid shit to people.
Well, this is what was weird about the show. So yeah, you have that right. Then all
Hmm.
of a sudden, now the police or the fire chief, his daughter is now part of the house. So it's
Okay.
like now all of a sudden the house has to be on their best behavior, but she wants to be treated as everyone else, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that whole rigmarole starts taking over. Whereas like the first season was, I mean, she did come in the first season. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
like I said, like that would have been better off as like a movie. Like now to have to see that for more seasons, and then again the character development. That's why sometimes movies are better, man, because there's no character development sometimes, unless you get into sequels. But like if you have a
Yeah.
really good movie, like yeah, what happens when that movie ends is a mystery. That's your imagination.
Yeah.
That's up to you to figure out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm not. We'll have to see how this Dan Harmon shit turns out.
yeah.
I mean, I'll watch it, but I've just the biggest problem is that because you do it too. You watch Community, so you compare a lot of stuff to Community because you watched that first.
Oh hell yeah.
Me watching like Rick and Morty, and this being another cartoon,
Yeah.
in my head, I'm gonna be like, I want this to be Rick and Morty, and it's not. You know what I mean? No matter
Yeah.
what, it might have like some certain cues or certain type of
Mm-hmm.
humor to it, but it is not going to be Rick and Morty, and that's what my brain is going to try to process this as.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Now
And I'll try
maybe
to compare all the time.
yeah, and maybe it can well sometimes you watch something like that and you have that in your mind
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, no, this is garbage. But then you give it some time.
Yeah,
You let your brain cleanse because you take a bath in the mines of Mandalore and you wash
yeah.
your sins away. And then you
Make
come
sure
to
you
think
hit the hot spots too,
yeah,
down
and
down
then
low.
right, and then you come back and you're like, let me give this another shot. And then you do, and you're like, holy fuck, why did I not give this a shot before?
Yeah,
Because you know what I did that to once? I did that to Anchorman. I saw
okay,
Anchorman in the theater, and
yeah,
I didn't really think it was that funny.
yeah,
Then all of a sudden, I saw Anchorman like second, third time. Never laughed harder in my life.
yeah. And that happened to me with the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah,
I thought that was just like, well, plus when I first saw it, I was high out of my mind. So
yeah.
like it was just so weird because it like starts off with Seth Rogen and he's just like talking about
We went to Tijuana, Mexico, and we thought it'd be fun, to go to this show. Everyone's, you got to check out one of these shows. And, it's a woman fucking a horse.
and I'm like, what the hell am I watching? And like it was there
Click.
all the actors, yeah, all the actors were very like kind of unknown. It was Seth Rogen, it
Yeah.
was Paul Rudd. I hadn't really watched a whole bunch of stuff. I mean,
If you saw
I was
Clueless,
like
you knew Paul
18
Rudd.
or I was like 18, 19 years old when that came out.
Yeah.
So it was just a weird, but then I watched it again and it's one of like my favorite movies now. So
Right. So well, you never know. You never know
yeah,
sometimes with these things. So never judge a book by its cover, guys. If that makes any sense in this situation.
I mean, in some cases you can.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you just know something's going to be bad,
Like the Greasy Strangler.
like the Greasy Strangler,
You didn't know
Swiss,
that was gonna be,
Swiss
that
Army
was the
Man.
best. When you heard the Greasy Strangler, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a thriller. And then it turned out to be just a greasy movie. But
That
it's
old man's
so
penis is like seared into my memory. It's horrible.
the anteater.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the penises were prosthetic. Like they were just random things that they put. So they weren't actually showing their dongs, which was kind of. It was still gross, but it
Except
wasn't.
for that lady's boobs, those were real. Oh, disgusting.
Yeah, they were. They were
Janet,
real.
am I doing
Janet,
it right? Am I doing
am
it
I doing
right?
it right, Janet? Janet, am I doing it right? That's such a great movie.
Ugh.
Hey, though, real quick, have you ever seen this guy Chad Kroeger on TikTok and his partner in crime, JT Parr?
I
Like
have
what
not.
they'll do is so let me explain. You might know this. You might have seen this. So they go to city hall meetings and they like or city council meetings and they come off like they're activists, but they sound like they're stoner surfers, like
Okay.
and they come up like the most ridiculous things like
Mr. Kroeger and Mr. Parr. Okay, you'll get 3 minutes each. Who would like to go first? Chad. Come on up, Chad.
What up, Council? As you all know, the Super Bowl's coming up this Sunday. All my boys are plans at Ricky's house in Hermosa. He's got Fat Roku above his jacuzzi. Everyone's fired up. Everyone. Council, I do not give an S word about football. And it makes me feel weird and uncool. I don't know what it is. I just can't seem to care about two jack dudes arbitrarily slamming each other. And I can't tell you how hard it is to act enthused when my boys talk about Tyreek Bill's 40 time. Like at first I was stoked because I thought it's like that's how fast he could chug a 40. But anyways, every time I try to watch, like, my focus wanders, and then I start to just think about things like boobs, which I totally understand. They're awesome. Anyways, I think that it'd be cool if you guys did like a PSA for people to say like it's okay not to be a fan. I think that'd help out more people than you know. And I think it also could lead to less polarization in the country. So thank you for letting me be honest up here, and I love you.
Thank you, Chad. JT.
What up, council? My name is JT Parr. I'm Chad's buddy, and I'm here to support him. When Chad divulged to me that he wasn't a football fan, I was so inspired by his courage. I had been suspicious for a while, like before last year's Super Bowl, he said that the Rams were going to dominate with the run game, which was already a little off. And then he added that they would do it with Marshall Faulk. I'm just so proud of my dog for keeping him 100 now, because there's been things that like I don't like, that even at 35 years old, I've been embarrassed to admit to my friends, like boobs. Like, I mean, I think they're awesome and I'm blown away by their function, but I'm just not a boobs guy. Like, they're cool and I like to look at them, but like, what about the rest of the rig? Boobs for sure, no disrespect, but the whole rig and the mind. Like, you gotta have a banging mind. I miss her so much. Well, I'm just really proud of you, Chad, and I want to support you like you always support me. So thanks, guys. Much love.
All right. Thank you.
I didn't know this, but they made a Netflix series. These guys are these guys are comedians. Okay, they're not retarded. Although you may think they are. You may think they are, but this is actually quite genius, I think, in my mind. But it's like a prank comedy / mockumentary that they do, and it's a 6-part series. Now, don't let that scare you because they're only 20 minutes apiece. So you could watch this in a 2-hour span, like easily. You know what I mean?
This isn't like a 72 episodes of...
No, this is not a Chris Chan, which, by the way, that episode is not going to air until like I get like a Patreon page. I'm making people pay to listen to that Chris Chan bullshit. But yeah, losing my thought here talking about Chris Chan and whatnot. Back to Chad and JT. So they do this 6-part series. They're only like 20 minutes. Like I said, you can easily just hack through them. But they have a camera crew following them, and basically the premise is so the camera team follows Chad Kroeger and JT Parr, who are activists, Stoke Lord bros in Southern California that want to spread good vibes in Stoke. And they're also mad Fast and the Furious fans. Okay? So some of their causes that they go through, is stop shit talking to people on e-scooters so you can't talk shit to people that are riding e-scooters, okay? Saving the coral reef by selling used sex toys.
Ugh.
Okay, to keep the plastic out of the coral. All right. Stop the ban on house parties because they love partying and those bring good vibes and Stoke and all that.
Yeah.
Protecting our borders, skateboarders.
Oh, okay.
From like citations and fines and crap like that. Small dong awareness was another cause on there. So another one they did was soil erosion. They found like some bad areas that had some bad soil. Like you can see like piers. They had to build piers because like things were going to fall in the ocean, and they're going to eventually. But yeah, so they do a beer bong off the side of this huge like 100-foot cliff. Just a pitcher of beer down like a huge like 200-foot like tube, which was hilarious. Okay, but the best one out of all of this is public beehole sunning places. Like they did a city hall presentation, and they asked that they please allocate space for beehole sunning. And what the best is when Chad sits down and JT comes up and starts, backing him up. He's like, if you don't mind, if I could just point everyone's attention to the stairs where Chad will demonstrate the position. Chad just gets up and puts his legs behind his back, and like you just hear people in the freaking chamber or the city council assembly hall, whatever you want to call it, just laughing. Like what's he doing? But so that's basically like that's their activism, like, so stupid shit like that. And like what's funny is like they start like they'll do like signatures, and like people will actually start signing, like they'll actually, like, it just shows how stupid people can be.
Yeah.
And like they're literally, people are signing like the e-scooter thing, like this old lady, and they're telling her, yeah, so this is so you can't talk shit to people that are riding on e-scooters. This lady's talking about how she hates them because like they're scary and they come right up on her and stuff. And she's signing her name, and she's like saying this, and then dude's like, yeah, but you won't be able to say those things for the rest of your life. And then she goes, oh, okay. Would you like my email? And they both at the same time are like, yes. And shit.
Oh my God.
But
People are dumb. People are.
Yeah. So it's kind of like one of those like Jay Leno things in a way, But like it's just hilarious. Like some of this, some of the shit these people say, you got to watch it. But the main premise is Chad and JT start becoming popular with their activism, and they catch the attention of this world famous DJ Zed, who invites them to come to one of his upcoming Vegas ragers. And basically, he wants them to give a speech about one of their causes and spread Stoke. So immediately they accept, but after they accept, they go promoting a cause called Protect Our Borders. Okay. And so they have a tent set up, and they're getting people, and well, most of the people are like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, protect our borders. Like, whoa, like, because there's a big debate, it's like a huge hot topic issue out there.
Yeah.
Because some people want like to put a fucking wall up. Other people are like, no, we're open to immigration, So like all these people are talking about immigration, and they're like laughing at him like, dude, I'm totally lost on what you're talking about. But yeah, man, protect our borders. Because what's funny is they don't actually explain what they mean. They just like are assuming that people are like, they're on the same page,
Yeah.
But so a guy comes rolling up on his skateboard. They take a selfie with him, and he's wearing a shirt that says "Protect Our Borders," but it's spelled BORDERS, like protect the borders.
The borders,
yeah. So this creates all this animosity on Instagram, and they lose followers overnight. And then it reacts to Zed guy with all the negativity. Hey, I'm going to have to cancel out on you guys. And this is all during, they figure this out while they're giving a tour. They're giving a Hollywood like famous places where famous things were filmed at tour.
Yeah.
And it's all Fast and the Furious. They go by the deli, the Toretto deli.
Oh God.
They go by the Toretto house, and he's like, dude, that's the most famous house in all of LA, guys. Like right there. And these people are, they're so fucking pissed and shit. So yeah. So they figure this out. Like they end the tour right there when they find out that they're being canceled, and like Zed's texting them, telling them like, hey, I think we're just gonna have to pass on this.
Oh my God.
So they start to like debate about whether or not they should continue. Out of nowhere, they're at a bar. Out of nowhere, Jordana Brewster, who played Mia Toretto, comes out of nowhere and comes up to him and tells him like, I love your activism. You guys are awesome. Like, you guys are the coolest and all this. And like, Chad's like, hey, will you sit down? Like, can I ask you a question? And he's telling him about the borders thing, and it's like just a huge misunderstanding. And we're gonna miss out on Zed's party, and we're just thinking about ending all this. And she's like, "Would do you guys really want to party?" And they're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Then I think you should just screw it, just go keep doing what you're doing, and win everybody back. Show Zed that you're legit." No, don't give up. And like,
Yeah.
and then also Chad's like, here, have my beer. And she's like, oh, thank you. She starts chugging his Corona. It's hilarious.
Oh my God.
So the rest of the show is basically them coming up with like trying to like redeem themselves. So they're doing all these new activists, all these new causes. So like selling the freaking sex toys, the used sex toys. That's the best because the mom shows up and she brings sex toys. She's like, here, honey,
God.
I just wanted to make a donation for your cause. And he's like, oh, thanks, mom. You're the best. Thanks so much. And this guy's standing there like, he just like eyes so wide, like, what the fuck is going on right now? Oh my God. It was so hilarious. And he's like, I'm out of here. I'm pretty sure a lady bought a freaking strap on that they had.
Oh God.
So,
Ugh.
but yeah, it really, they end up showing Zed, hey, we can do it. But they had a falling out when they did mushrooms. And the main thing was JT wanted to shave a line back his head.
Yeah.
Chad didn't want to. So they kind of had a falling out. But somewhere at the end, Chad finds out that JT is going to go back to college as a 33-year-old. And he's going to give his last city council speech to let everybody know he's going to college.
My God.
So Chad comes at the end and gives his speech to tell him, I'm here, bro, to support you. And he finally shaves his head. And like then they're like practically happily ever after. But that's the thing. Like, if it's like The Office meets Dude, Where's My Car?
I don't know. Sometimes it gets like, is it really dumb though? Like when they start, like, do they act really stupid? Because like, Dude, Where's My Car? Like, you remember that movie?
Yeah,
it was horrible.
It was, but no, I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, that probably was bad, but I guess like they come off like they're really dumb surfers, like they're really ignorant to the world. Like when they were on that bus tour, the Fast and the Furious tour, like they were asking the people on the bus, like, hey, when you hear protect our borders, what's the first thing you think of? And the one girl's like, are you fucking kidding me? And stuff. And then like, they're still pointing. I love it. Chad is like, oh, guys, if you look over there, that's where Johnny Tran made his big wipeout. And the girl's like, I don't care about this tour anymore. I'm very concerned about your guys' education. You know what I mean? Like, so I thought that like the people's reactions were actually pretty funny to what they were saying and stuff like that. Like small dong awareness, dude. They had a march for small dong awareness in LA. Like that's hilarious. But why I say like Office meets Dude, Where's My Car? Like, so it's got the Office feel with the camera movement.
Yeah.
And stuff. But then there's parts where you definitely feel like this is a cinematic movie or type deal, like a live action movie or something like that. And it's not a documentary because like some of the way things are said, like doesn't sound like they're like saying that in front of a camera, but they're like there might be a third person there just standing there watching that. Like a movie would be. Yeah. Like there was this one scene that reminded me of like Point Break where Gary and Keanu are at the beach talking because they were at the beach talking. But it didn't seem like they had a documentary camera like watching them. It seemed like they were just like on an off note talking to each other.
Gotcha.
So like, but like at the end, definitely like I'm like, okay, these city hall things got to be set up because this is just ridiculous. But the best is Chad comes in at the end and he's like, "Do you got one more time for one more?" And she's like, "I'm sorry, everything's booked." And then like another second pause, and all of a sudden they're like, "Chad Kroeger to the stage," and he's just like, "What?" And he gives a speech, and then whatever does his thing, and then he asks JT at the end. He's like, "Dude, how did they know that I was gonna be here today?" He's like, "Bro, I always put your name on there just in case you come." Oh my god! But yeah, definitely watch it. That's a watch, dude. Chad and JT go deep.
I'll have to check it out. It sounds ridiculous though.
You gotta watch. You gotta go to their TikTok channel because they have a stand up where they're at some comedy club and people are asking them for like advice.
Mhm.
Chad like literally every time answers, "Yeah, I think you need to get a pasta maker." Like they'll be like, "Oh yeah," I'm like the one guy's like saying he's got a girlfriend, but he's also got someone else on the side. You know, like how do you think I should like handle that? And he's like, "Yeah, you should definitely get a pasta maker." So,
Oh man.
oh, this is so here's a notable scene I gotta tell you about. So they got this guy that does all this Western or Eastern medicine wellness crap, right?
Mhm.
I think his name's like Toby or Todd. I didn't catch it, but so he's one of those guys that likes to do ice baths and weird shit like that, and meditation and yoga. Well, this is the guy that told him about beehole sunning.
Okay.
So this is where they do mushrooms with the guy, and like this is where their falling out starts happening because they talk to the trees and they want to save the Amazon. But so they're trying to like do things to get motivated for a new cause. And so yeah, they do the ice bath, they do some beehole sunning, they do some meditation. Well, then there's this scene where they're fucking standing there, like they got their legs spread out, like they're, I don't know, like they're about to, they just got their legs like a little farther shoulder width apart. The dude's just slapping his balls like crazy, and he's just like, "Breathe in, guys, breathe in, breathe in," and then they're just like, they're all in speedos, and like Chad and JT just like look at each other and they're like JT's like, "Man, like I don't know what this has to do with like creative thinking, but I'll trust the process." You know, and then like they start trying to do it and they're in pain. They're just like every time they start doing and then the guy's like, "Hey man, if that hurts too much, just knee him out, like you're kneeing dough or something, like just knee him out." I was like, "What the fuck?" But yeah, then they did the mushrooms, and yeah, from there they did like they were wrestling, like high school wrestling. Like that was fucking weird. And then finally they ended up taking camp in front of trees, and that's where it all came. Save the Amazon. But they made like, yeah, that's the sad part though. They did make it to Zed's party, but the fallout fucked it up. But they're so yeah, dude, it is ridiculous. It's a crazy show. I definitely watch it. But they are obsessed with Fast and the Furious at the end of the day.
Sounds like my type of show.
Yeah. They also did like they also went on like Fox and shit. And like I forget who the guy on Fox was, but they're like, "Hey, we want to make an announcement. We have small dongs and we want people to know that there's many like us out there that also have small dongs." And the guy's like, "You can't just say that on live television. You can't talk about your dongs on TV, guys."
Yeah, I'll check
So,
it out. I'll have to see
yeah.
this so I can comment on it and tell you how ridiculous it is.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I hope like I got to see if they have like a stand-up show if they tour or not. I would definitely love to see them. But I would see these TikToks and actually a lot of the TikToks that I saw, they're actually in the movie. So I didn't realize like these were actually a lot of these were for this
Clips.
movie, but
Yeah.
there's some that aren't in that movie and I don't know if they're real or not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know if they like arrange this. I don't think they do. I think they literally go and they use their freedom of speech. Like I think that's what it's all what makes this I think that's the genius behind this all
Mhm.
is that there is a freedom of speech and you can go to a city council meeting and literally say whatever the fuck you want.
Mhm.
I mean, it's kind of got to do with the town, but like yeah, like with the beehole sunning, the guy at City Hall tried telling him, you know, this doesn't really pertain to business here. And they actually rebutted, well, it's a holistic treatment. And so, yeah, what we're actually asking is that you make it a part of the city. So it would basically like, yeah, this does pertain to business, actually.
Yeah.
So I
Ridiculous.
think it's actually pretty genius, but they seem like they're very ignorant and very one-minded to the world, you know,
Yeah.
and like they think their causes are like, you know, above and beyond, but you know, they're just like yeah, they're like the little things in the world is really what they are.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but
I'll have
what
to take a look.
yeah. But what else you got, Jared? We're at the end here. You got anything else to throw in here? News
So
and announcements?
I found a bunch of helmets to print for my cat, and
Ooh.
I'm not sure which one to make first, but I'm probably just going to end up making all of them. And then he's probably not going to let me put them on his head, but it'll be funny.
Tobias the Mandalorian.
Yeah, if there's like a Mando version, there's a Bo-Katan version. There's Loki from
Oh God.
Marvel.
I've
It's like
seen
these
that
big
one.
horns. There's that who's Thor's sister? Whatever her name is.
Hella.
Yeah, there's that crown with like all the spikes. It's
That
all
would
for
just they would
all for
just poke their
cats.
fucking eyes out with that one.
But
That and Loki.
I think I'll try start with the Mandalorian one because that'll probably be the easiest as far as design. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Well, if Pedro Pascal can't see shit in that helmet, I doubt the cat's gonna see shit either.
I just need him to sit with it on his head long enough for me to at least take a picture, and then I'll be happy.
That's what
That's it.
sucks. Yeah, because the helmet can't like if he's walking, you can never a cat.
Well,
Couldn't wear
it's
that.
designed so it's like the back of it's kind of slit. So like it goes over, and when they're forward, the eye slit still is high level.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We'll see. I have to hold him still so I can measure his head.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Well, I will say this. Next Sunday does actually mark the 1 year anniversary from the St. Patrick's Day episode that we had last year.
Okay.
Which is crazy. It's crazy that we're hitting all these 1 year anniversaries. So
yeah,
make sure you people are sharing and letting everybody know. But we had a full moon. I think the moon's full either today or sometime later this week. So maybe
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we'll do a conspiracy theory weekend next week here. So stay tuned for that. But guys, thank you. Have yourself a great night. We love you.
Peace.
That's our show. Please make sure to subscribe to catch all the latest episodes of Tell It Right podcast. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.